All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking real music in real time for a few real people out there just like you and just like me. So the Dixie Chicks, or as they like to be called now, the Chicks, abruptly cancel a concert under what looks like to be kind of strange circumstances. But once you read into it, this is something that can happen. Doesn't happen too often, but when it does, it's pretty bad. Fans of the Chicks. Okay, let me address the Chicks thing, okay? You go from not wanting to be racist, right? The Dixie Chicks supposedly is racist because of Dixie. I'm thinking of the Alabama song, Dixieland Delight. Maybe that should be changed to Land Delight, right? Because that's a great way to fix that song. Until all of this mindless political nonsense came along, you could call stuff what it is, what it was. Dixie, where do you live? I live in the heart of Dixie. Oh, that's a bad place. I live in the land of the South. I live in the heart of the South somewhere that has nothing to do with the word Dixie. Okay. All right. So that's cool now, right? So the Chicks, right, sounds kind of sexist, doesn't it? Like, hey, who are you going to go see? Well, I'm going to go see the Chicks, man. And, you know, those aren't the little chicks that are on the ground, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I think you supposedly fixed one problem, right? And now you have an identity crisis that continues. How about this, right? The female trio, who you may know by name, especially Natalie Maines, but it's Natalie Maines, Marty McGuire, and Emily Strayer. Now, being an old geezer rock liker, I like old geezer rock bands. You had bands like Emerson, Lake, and Palmer, right? So you could easily do Maines, McGuire, and Strayer. Maines, McGuire, and Strayer. Why not? At least you get your names in there, and now you don't have to deal with being the Chicks. You know, the band said years ago that it was a stupid name. They chose it when they were in high school, yada, yada. No, it wasn't a stupid name. It was a good name. It was an okay name. I mean, Dixie Chicks, to me, it's kind of a lazy name. Who are you guys? We're just chicks who live in Dixie. So we're the Dixie Chicks, all right? But all of this stuff, you know, Alabama, all right, it's named after a state, but those album covers, ooh, man, big trouble, especially I think the second or third album with that flag on there, very bad. You know, I think they put the flag in there quite a bit. Confederate Railroad, they're in a lot of trouble. They've been in trouble since, who knows, since people started getting angry at really stupid stuff. Anyway, these ladies had some difficulties and had to cancel their show abruptly. Why? Strict doctor's orders for vocal rest. They're on stage, and Natalie Maines can be heard saying, "I just can't. We'll try one more song, waiting for this shot to kick in. Not a shot of alcohol, a shot of steroids. I'm so sorry. I just can't pull it off." A frustrated Maines told the crowd, as captured in a video by a concert attendee. The Chicks took to social media after cutting the concert short and apologized, saying, "Indianapolis, we are so sorry we could not give you the show you deserved or the show that we wanted to give you. We will be back, Indianapolis." The group shared an update on Monday telling fans that they had strict doctor's orders for vocal rest and were forced to postpone additional shows. Fans took to social media to support the Chicks, most of whom were sympathetic to the vocal issues the group was dealing with. Okay, so it was vocal issues and steroids for a lead vocalist. I remember hearing this, Steve Perry talking about this with Journey. There are cases where you just can't get your voice to do what it needs to do. And apparently the steroids could possibly make that happen. It tends to be almost like a last-ditch effort to save the day, because typically you need to rest your voice. And hence, that's what the doctor told them to do. All right. So the Dixie Chicks, or the Chicks, will be probably sidelined for quite some time. Now, as far as this group, right, back in the day where they were being all rebellious and they said things like dissent is patriotic, I wonder if they think that stuff now. I wonder if they believe all the stuff that they used to believe, because what happened in the number of years since like the Iraq War and George W. Bush doing what he did, which was kind of like, I don't know, destabilize the world and stuff. A lot of us had a change of opinion. A lot of us had a change of heart about endless war and regime change war and looking for weapons that don't exist and things like that. But I wonder if the Chicks feel differently. Like there have been a number of narratives that just continue to go out there. And when people have, a dissenting view, they're typically shut down. They're shut down on social media. They're shut down on mainstream media. They're shut down pretty much everywhere. And then sometimes they're doxxed and they're harassed and all these things happen. Whereas the Dixie Chicks, at least back in the day, they were complaining about something that at the time I didn't think was legitimate. I've come around to that philosophy, by the way, and especially when it comes to going to war. And back in those days, it wasn't patriotic to oppose the war. And they were right in those days. The Dixie Chicks were right. I just wonder if they think the same stuff now. In any event, we wish the Chicks the best and hope they can get back out on the road. They are fairly talented, and I think they've been their own worst enemy at times in this industry. But I think overall, in those days where it was very controversial, they were right. They were right. And I'm just wondering if they still think the same stuff. But who knows? I'm sure somebody who has followed them can probably find recent statements on the last 2+ years of lockdowns and tyranny and all the stuff that we've gone through to see if maybe the Dixie Chicks have evolved in the wrong direction. My guess is they probably have, but I'm not going to spend time doing research on this because, quite honestly, I think I've got some better stuff to do. All right, people, thanks for watching. Again, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, Patreon for $1 a month. Also, check out my other channel. It's linked to the banner page, the landing page of this channel. You can find that I do some straight up political commentary and interviews over there with some interesting people, especially when it comes to issues that are affecting the world. As much as I love doing this channel, typically music isn't a life or death issue. That's why I tell people, if you disagree with me, chill out. This isn't that important overall. It's entertainment, it's commentary, it's supposed to be a little lighthearted. Of course, I have injected a lot more opinion over here, and I appreciate those people who like that. But in the old days, it was different. With the world not going to hell, I didn't feel as though I had to comment and make everything into a political issue. Whereas today, unfortunately, almost everything is political. Hence, the band that used to be known as the Dixie Chicks are now just the Chicks.